Hi everyone, welcome to the Crafty Pixie channel where we do sewing projects and subscription boxes. I am B. Whether you are new or old to this channel, thank you so much for stopping by. It is great to have you. In today's video, we are going to be opening the January Sewers Club box and putting together whatever project happens to be inside. So if you haven't already seen any of these videos, I can definitely leave a link up here where you can actually view the past videos. We are coming up on 1 year. The February box will make 1 year that I've been opening these, and I actually really like them. I'm gonna keep opening them, and I am searching for another one to open for you guys. If you haven't checked in on this already, this is $31.99 to the US, including shipping. You can get a bonus item. I think that's $9 extra a month, which I mean is not bad. These projects are great and reusable. You know, they give you enough material to do the project, but they give you the measurements and everything so that you can keep making them with other fabric, which is really, really nice. So yeah, $31.99 to the US. I do believe they ship elsewhere as well. I'm just not 100% sure on that. All of that information is on their website. I'll have a link down below for you for it, which is really nice. How are you guys doing? I hope that you are doing well in your own little corner of the world. I see you and you guys are awesome. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button down below so you know when I upload every week. Leave a comment in the comment section, especially if you are a new subscriber. I would love to hear from you, and give the video a thumbs up. Also, we are finishing up what it was in the advent calendar that I got. By the time that I'm filming this, I think I've got 2 more to open, so next video will have the last 2 on there for you. But the ones that we've gotten since the last video are, hold on, we got a little seam ripper right here. I can never have, I've got a big one. You usually see it when I do the materials needed for the video, but this is a nice little small one. I might keep this one handy in another section of my studio. And then I got this adorable, it's pink, but it's okay. It is a retractable tape measure, which is really cute, and that is definitely going to come in handy when I'm doing, you know, measuring for clothes or anything like that. This is retractable, which is a little bit easier sometimes than your normal measuring tapes, which is nice. We did get a travel like luggage tag that has sewing supplies in it if you need it. The only thing is this broke as soon as I took it out of the box. There's no pin on this side holding this side together, so I do have to be very careful. This is not going to actually be used as luggage tag, but it opens, and then you've got, of course, your ID and address and everything like that, and then behind that you've got a nice little emergency, oops, that was a needle threader that just popped out, so I'm gonna try to, so nothing else falls out. But you've got 2 buttons, you got a safety pin, you've got some thread, you got 2 needles in here too, and then of course your seam threader or your needle threader. So yeah, there's that. Again, this is not going to be used for luggage. It is all plastic, and it is already broken. Like the bottom pin is even kind of loose. So that is the only thing that has been broken or that I've had broken or I had an issue with since I started opening the box. So I guess 1 out of 24 is not that bad. And then I got this really cute old-fashioned decorative pin. I absolutely love this. This is so freaking cute. And then in another day, I got more beaded head pins, but they're like rose gold. So I got a bunch of those. I just stuck them in here because they were poking me through their bag. And then this I find absolutely adorable. It looks like a lipstick holder. You open it up and it's a little pincushion. It's a lipstick pincushion. I think that is freaking adorable, and it came with the pins that you see on here. So it came with 5 pins. So I just thought that was the cutest thing. And I love red lipstick, if you haven't noticed. So that's just, it was just so cute. I was like, what in the world is this? Because I try not to cheat. But that was really cute. All right, so without any further ado, let's adjust the camera angle and crack this box open and then go from there.
Okay, so we're going to try something a little bit different here. For some reason, this footage has no sound at all. So I am cracking the box open. You guys know that I like to open the box on camera so there's no cheating. And I'm just moving stuff around in case there's something that people who are not subscribed to the box get that non-subscribers don't. Just making sure everything stays following the rules. And inside the box, we have our January project, which is the wine bottle bag with a gift card pocket. This will finish approximately 12 inches by 4 inches and fits a standard 750 milliliter wine bottle. So that's really cool. This is going to be a little bit interesting because it's going to be round, but that's okay. We'll make it work. And it looks like there's a little template in there and everything. And we do have our nice little handmade bag tag. This is, I think, the 3rd time we've gotten this tag in one of the boxes, so that's really nice that we have it again. Here is our spool of Gooderman thread that we get every month, and this is in the color silver. It's going to go really nicely with the exterior fabric. And then we've got a nice little extra gift in here for everyone that comes in really handy. This is like a mini storage. It can sit next to your sewing machine or on your work table, whichever you use. And it is in the color red. So you guys know that I do love the color red. So that's awesome that it came in my favorite color. And this is a nice small item. You have hard plastic on the bottom and then a nice silicone center that is removable if for any reason you do need to clean it. And the interior just moves aside so that you can stick, small scissors or a ruler or seam ripper, anything like that. I do have a gift card here just to show you how it fits in. You just slide it in, and then when you're done, just pull it out and the silicone goes back into place so that it is not distorted or anything like that, which is really cool. That's going to come in very handy, I'm sure. Here is our first piece of fabric. This project is done with just fat quarters. So you have your first fat quarter here. There is 2 alternatives to this fabric. So you have the background that is a little bit darker, and then this one right here. Then here is our interior and contrasting fabric in kind of a gray cobblestone type design. This is another fat quarter cut. So that's really nice that this project can be done with just fat quarters. I tend to buy a lot of fat quarters. They come in very handy. And then our next piece is our fusible fleece. So as you know, if you've ever worked with it before, one side is sticky with the glue, the other is just fleecy. This is going to give the shape and body of the bag, as well as some support for the bottom to hold the wine, which is very nice. It is always nice that they provide all of the fabric and interfacing that you need. And that's pretty much it. I don't have the designer for the fabric. I did throw that piece of paper away before editing.
For this project, you're going to need all of your pattern pieces cut out and the appropriate ones interfaced. Now, when you are looking at the drawing for your pattern pieces, please make sure that you read the cutting instructions correctly, because what's labeled on the fat quarter pattern layout is not what is in the cutting instructions for fabric A. Specifically the handle. The handle in the picture is not the correct size. That's the only thing you really have to think about. So when you are looking at it, either look at the measurement cut for fabric A, or if you go to step 12, it'll have the dimensions for that pattern piece. And then of course you've got your fusible fleece for the handle that isn't cut yet, or fused yet, I should say. That does come in step 12. You're going to need clips or pins, of course your coordinating thread, the homemade tag. It's always good to have the seam ripper on hand, a ruler, marking tool, preferably a marking tool that will erase, so either a chalk marking tool or a air erasing marking tool, a little bit of time, and you'll be good to go. First, we're going to take the shorter piece of fabric A and the shortest piece of fabric B, since I can't give you the actual measurements, and we're going to align them right sides together along the top edge. Get some clips, hold on. And then we're going to align it, and we're going to pin it into place. Like so. We're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew 1/4 of an inch across where we just clipped. Make sure to backstitch at the beginning and at the end, and it is a 2.5 millimeter stitch length. And then once we are done with that, we're going to take this over to the iron, and we're going to press the seam either to the back of the shorter piece or to the back of the longer piece. I am probably going to push it down to the longer piece just because the wine bottle is going to be going in at the top here, and we don't need to have any snagging or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. With that done, we're going to set that to the side, and then we're going to grab our longest piece of fabric A, the one that does not have the fusible fleece at the top, and then you're going to grab your last piece of fabric B that has the fusible fleece on it, and we're going to flip this right side up, and we're going to lay our fabric piece B right side down across the top that is not fused with the fusible fleece. We're going to pin, and we're going to sew at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. My fingers work today. There we go. Okay, so right across the top, 2.5 millimeter stitch length. Make sure to backstitch at the beginning and at the end. All right, so I'm gonna go do that and I will be right back. With that done, I went ahead and pressed it open and flat and just pressed the seam to the exterior fabric. Now what we're going to do, you've got this nice little opening here between the fusible fleeces. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold it up so that the unfused piece folds over the edge of the fusible fleece on both sides, like so. And bring it up to make our pocket, like so. Okay, so just like that. Okay, can you see that? All right, now we're going to take this over to the sewing machine and we're gonna top stitch an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance right across here. Make sure to backstitch at the beginning and at the end, and then we're gonna make sure this is nice and aligned, and we're just gonna baste down the side 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, just so that the two pieces attach, because this is your gift card slot pocket and you don't want this shifting around when we're putting everything together. So I'm going to go ahead and go do that and I will be right back. With the pocket basted in place, what you want to do is you want to make sure that both of the exterior panels are going to match up, and they do, so we're good. I've already put the pleats into all of them, but I'm going to show you what to do here. I cannot give you any measurements, sorry. I have already put my markings in. I'm going to make them a little bit darker actually, because I can barely see them. I know that you're not going to be able to see them, I'm sure. But we're going to take a clip or a pin and we're going to match our first line to our second line. So we're just going to fold in so that the lines match each other just like so. So it kind of looks like that. The fold goes out this way so that when you're looking at the pleat is facing in. Do the same thing to the other one. Make sure that they are facing in the same direction. Like so, pin them down. Now we're going to take this over to the sewing machine and we are just going to baste all of the pleats on the exterior and on the lining pieces as well. So I'm going to go do that. You baste it 5mm stitch length, do not back stitch, and you're just basting over the pleat. You're not basting all the way across the top. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and I will be right back. With all of the pleats done, now we're going to combine the exterior pieces together and the lining pieces together. So we're going to take exterior pieces, place them right sides together. We're going to match everything up so your pleats should match, and these seams right here should definitely match. I'm gonna clip the seams first. That could be kind of weird here because you got the curve from the pleats. I'm gonna match it up like so. Now you're gonna do this to the lining piece as well. But when you do it, you're going to have to leave a 3 to 4 inch opening on the side of the lining piece. That is where we're going to be turning everything right side out. So for the exterior, we're sewing along the sides, the bottom, and then up the other side. And we're going to be sewing the exterior and the lining at a 1/2 of an inch seam allowance. This is going to give you more space when we attach the round bottom. Now I made the H2O to-go sling last year, or not last year, yeah, last year. And I had to sew a round bottom. And I don't like round bottoms. I tend to have to pick them and redo certain areas because there's pleats or there's bunching or anything like that. So we're gonna see how this one goes. This has a bigger seam allowance, so there's a little bit more wiggle room, so we should be okay. So you're gonna sew 1/2 of an inch seam allowance all the way around the clipped edges. Make sure to backstitch at the beginning and at the end. And then when you do your lining piece, make sure to backstitch really, really well at the side opening that you're gonna make. So you're gonna sew 1/2 of an inch seam allowance, backstitch really, really well, come all the way over here, backstitch really, really well, and then sew all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to do that to both, and I will be right back. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to mark a midpoint for the lining and the exterior. So basically, you put the side seams together and then mark your center marks, and then you're going to mark the 4 corners of your exterior bottom and your lining bottom. When you do that, you just fold it over, mark the center line, fold it again, mark the center line. Now we're going to match up the marks and sew the bottom. So we're going to clip matching the markings first. Like so. Fold that seam open, matching it. You're going to do the same thing to this one. Okay, now you're going to work your way around, maneuvering and clipping the raw edges together. A lot of clips here is a good thing. It helps keep everything steady while you're working and even. You don't want this shifting on you. You don't want any pleats or any creases or anything like that. So sometimes you will have to move the fabric and maneuver the fabric just a little bit. You don't have to be so particular with the lining because no one's going to see that. So if there's like a pleat or a crease in that one, then of course you're okay. All right. Move her around a little bit. There should be no creasing in the fabric. Now when you do this, you're going to be using a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Go slow around the curve. It's a very small curve. You'll be okay though. All right, so I'm going to do this to the lining as well. And then when you go to the sewing machine for your 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, you're going to want to lay it down this way. So the top thread goes in this way, and then you're just going to work it all the way around. That's why I said go slow, because if you go this way, you're going to run the risk of losing this outer piece, okay? Okay, now I went ahead, attached the bottoms. Came out pretty well, actually. I didn't really have very much of an issue. And then at this point, I turned everything right side out. At this point, this is your last opportunity to put the handmade tag on if you want to. So what I did is I measured down about 1 3/4 of an inch and made my marks and everything. I just kind of eyeball centered it. I didn't actually like center it. And then we're just making an opening in the fabric to fit the tag into place. Make sure when you're using your seam ripper that you're not stabbing yourself, because that actually really hurts. And then we're going to take our prongs, put them through the holes that we just made. And it's always a good idea to have the holes a little bit smaller than the prongs. That way it's nice and snug. And then you flip it to the inside and you attach your piece. I'm actually going to pull the prongs inward for this one. So you got something like that. You can push them out if you want to, you don't have to. And then I'm going to take an extra little piece of the fusible fleece and I'm just going to attach it to the back so that the prongs don't rub against the lining and then put a hole into the lining. So I'm going to get some fabric glue and do that. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I got a little bit of the glue. I'm gonna flip this so you can see, and then I'm just going to place it right on top like that. Hold it for a few seconds, make sure it sticks. And then, oop, come on. And then you will be good to go. Now we're going to stick the lining and the exterior into place. So you're going to grab both. Now we're going to take and put them together. So we're going to squish the exterior a little bit to get into the lining. So they're going to be right sides facing. Don't pull any of your pleats apart. Come on. And I actually did. I pulled the pleat apart. Man. All right, I'm just going to hand stitch that really fast. I will be right back. All right, all fixed now. So now what we're going to do is we are going to align the side seams and all of the pleats together on the interior and exterior. And there's a pleat here. I'm gonna do the side seams first. Line up your pleats. Now all of the pleats should be facing in the same direction. Ooh. And then just put a few more clips. You know, you can use as many or as few clips as you would like. I like to put a lot of clips when I'm doing aligning to an exterior, just so that I make sure that there is as little shifting as possible. All right, now you're going to take this over to the sewing machine and you're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and you're going to sew all the way around where we pinned. Once you're done with that, we're going to turn everything right side out, and we're going through our little opening here, and then we're going to sew that opening shut. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of that, and I'll be right back. And you're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way across the top. So I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. With the top stitch, or not top stitching, but the connection done and turning it right side out and sewing the interior, this is what you are looking at. Now we're going to set this aside and we're going to grab our handle. And what we're going to do with the handle is we're going to fold it in half so that the long sides are meeting. And we're going to clip this into place. Like so. We're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and right across where we clipped, we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way across. Make sure to backstitch at the beginning and at the end. And then when you are done, we are going to take our piece of fusible fleece and we're going to align it right on top and then pull this right side out. So I'm going to go do all of that and I'll be right back. Okay, with that turned right side out, that was a pain. We're going to mark the sides. Now again, I can't tell you how far to go, but I'm going to mark down what it says in the pattern. I'm going to do that right now. Give me 1 second. Okay, you're going to mark down on both sides. Okay, and then on the wrong side of your fabric, I'm going to do it a little bit differently than what it says in the pattern, but it works just the same. So it tells you to fold each of the raw edges in 1/4 of an inch. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark on the wrong side of the fabric 1/4 of an inch on both sides. And then I'm going to lay this down, line up my 1/4 of an inch mark with the mark we made on the fabric, and then we're going to fold it up. It's going to be kind of hard to do. I might actually, hold on, I'm going to get a pin. This is a little too far down to use a clip, so I'll just use a pin to hold it into place until I get it over to the sewing machine. Center that as best you can, and pin into place. So, and then you're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. Put it into place. You can use double-sided tape if you want to here, but a pin works just as well if you can get the pin to cooperate. Alright, so we're going to take that over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew this and backstitch a couple of times over that so that stays in place. And then we're going to top stitch all around the top, including sewing over your strap. This just gives it more reinforcement here for you so it doesn't move around too much. So I'm going to clip the strap into place while I'm here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go do that, and I will be right back. All right, with the top stitching done, you are done. Great little spot for a gift card or a card or anything like that. It fits a nice bottle of wine. I've got one in there right now. And it looks great. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a comment in the comment section. Give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. And check out the website for Sewers Club and see if you like it. All right, until next time, see ya.